Alright, welcome to Pandemic of Maeve US versus Cho'gall. Right off the pull here, you want to try and bring Cho'gall into the center, or at least somewhere where you have plenty of room to move around so you don't need to worry about fire too much. It also allows you to stack up for conversion. The reason you want to stack up is because when he casts conversion, he will MC 3 players. It's more in 25-man, but it's 3 players in 10-man. And they will channel a spell at Cho'gall, increasing his damage by 10% every few seconds. So that's pretty bad. It is, however, very easy to interrupt. You just either get an interrupt on the person, silence, any kind of CC, and it'll get interrupted. When he casts Fury of Cho'gall, which is that giant laser beam, you'll want to have a tank switch. Fury of Cho'gall is also timed such that it signals a phase change of sorts, because he will also be summoning an ad. The tank that was tanking Cho'gall at the beginning should always be picking up this ad. The two things that this ad does that you have to worry about is a Shadow Crash, very similar to Vezak's, and a cast that it's about every 8 seconds or so, so you'll probably want 2 interrupts on it unless you have a shaman that can do it. And that needs to be interrupted. The reason it needs to be interrupted is because each time that explosion goes off, it will increase your corruption, which is that sort of sword-looking bar. It will increase your corruption by 10. Basically, the key mechanic of this fight is to try and keep your corruption as low as possible, very similar to the sound on Atramedes or your sanity on Yogg. Well, I guess Yogg you want high sanity, but same idea. When the ad has been killed, it will create a pool of black sludge basically on the ground, which will deal damage and increase your corruption very quickly, so obviously stay out of that. But the really important thing is that soon after the ad is killed, Cho'gall will cast Fester Blood, which will cause several smaller ads to spawn from the patch of sludge. It will be 3 ads per patch of blood, and the patches do not despawn. So you'll see here, we try and keep the patches of sludge close together. Didn't get an interrupt there. And that's because we want to keep the ads that spawn as stacked up as possible. A hunter with entrapment, which is a survival talent, is ideal for handling those ads because it gives you several seconds right off the bat to deal damage to them, and it snares them obviously with that frost trap. The reason you need to CC them so carefully is because each time they hit you, not only do they hit relatively hard considering how small they are for ads, they also increase your corruption quite considerably. I think it's... I can't remember how many, but it's a worrisome amount. So, for the first 2 rounds of ads, where we have 3 ads spawning and then 6, we usually just have a few of our ranged peel off, our hunter, mage, etc. You know, high AoE DPS classes. But beyond that, you'll want to start getting everyone on those. You'll notice that the ad spawning and Fury of Cho'gall gets a little staggered. They are on slightly different cooldowns, but still they happen around the same time. Shouldn't be too much to worry about. So during these 2 phases where you have, it's basically no ad up and then ads up phase, the tanks should be watching out for not only those patches of fire, but when he casts Flames Orders or Order of Flame, something like that, which will allow him to spawn those fire patches, he does additional fire damage on each hit to the tank. So tanks should pop a small damage mitigation cooldown if they're new to this fight, as in they're not geared as much as they might be. Once you outgear it a little bit, like this is our 3rd kill, I think, 4th kill, and we were fine without cooldowns, but still watch out for it because the healers will have to work pretty hard. The other thing Cho'gall will do is Shadow's Orders. He'll alternate Fire and Shadow, and Shadow's Orders does extra shadow damage on each attack. It's not as much tank damage, but it's an AoE. So here, once you've gotten Cho'gall to 25%, he will consume the blood of the old god, and you'll get all purpley and stuff. If you can push this phase before the 4th ad has been killed, and the blood patch dropped, that's very nice. But on our first several kills, we were able to do it with 4 patches spawning ads. Beyond that, it's fairly ridiculous. During this phase, he will have a constant shadow AoE damage aura that will also be building your corruption. So this is a complete DPS race. You'll also notice that there are these little tentacle ads spawning. These will channel a beam at a random target, which deals damage to them, increases their corruption, and reduces the damage and healing they do by 75%. So those ads need to go down ASAP, focus fire. We picked one of our DPS players to just, we marked them and followed their target. And you can interrupt their channel, so be on top of that. Once you get a handle on the ads, though, this fight is just a race to the finish.